All right, what we didn't finish was the Thoughts Line video we were watching earlier. I have ADD. All right. Hey, Jacob, thank you for joining me again here. I'm reaching out to my leftist and left-adjacent friends to, in the spirit of building unity, strength, and power, to come on and help me get to know them, allow me the opportunity of introducing them to my audience as well. And we'll be clipping this and putting it up either on YouTube or my Patreon page, and just sort of spread the good word about your journey, maybe some tips and tricks you could share, some life shortcuts along the way. I'm asking you to give the goods here today, and then after we have a little questionnaire, and lastly, we'll let you and the chat ask any questions. You can ask me any questions, and maybe we'll have some questions for you from the chat as well. So thanks again for joining me today. How's it going? Really quick, how you doing? And let us know how you're doing, what you're up to, and maybe where you're from, and give yourself the big quick intro, and maybe also where they can find you, and I'll help you out along the way if that's too much.
No worries. Let's see. I'm doing swell, dandy. Got a pink drink with matcha. Surprisingly good. I'm from St. Louis. Currently go to school down in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Oh.
Majoring in mass media, public relations.
SEIU?
Feels like.
Are you going to SEIU? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no worries. I thought my audio cut. No, SCMO.
SEMO. Okay.
SEMO. Yeah, I'm still in Missouri, but I can see Illinois from my window.
Oh, so. I'm confused. I'm sorry. I get it. Right. SEMO. All right. Yeah. I've actually visited there, but go on. Yeah. I went to school in Millikan University in Central Illinois, and our brother fraternity was there, and we visited there. But I was a little bit confused, obviously, which side of or what the acronym was there. Okay, fascinating. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm an asshole.
No worries. No worries. Let's see. What else have I done? Yeah, majoring in public relations. What were the rest of the questions?
No, that's fine. Yeah. How about where people can find you?
Oh, right. I am on Twitter at @JEisenkramer, Instagram at Discount Seth Rogen. The Twitter is right there, I think, somewhere.
Yeah, it's you got it.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook's mainly kind of personal, but if you find me somehow, feel free to add.
Okay, so you mentioned that you're going to school. I think, did you say you're studying politics? You want to go into politics?
Yeah, I want to go into politics. I'm majoring in public relations, minor in political science.
Oh, wow.
A major in political science is not really useful in what I was told.
Yeah. Wow, busy though. It seems like you're probably taking a lot of classes, maybe more than just you got a minor on top of the major. Is that right? So probably more classes, more requirements. Hopefully some overlap, but probably more.
There's about 1 or 2 overlap, and that's mainly just for the general ed stuff. But aside from that, it's been fun. Took a class on human rights abuses, which if you've ever spent 90 minutes debating whether something is genocide or ethnic cleansing, it's really depressing.
I don't want to know the difference. Is that okay? Should I know the difference?
You really don't need to. The definition of genocide is very limited, to say the least.
Oh, okay. Sort of like terrorism. Yeah. Like, okay, it only means this when it fits this definition.
Yeah, basically.
I didn't know that. So you're thinking about running for office. Can we dig into that? You want to elaborate on that?
I mean, the youngest age, you have to be 25 to run for most positions in Missouri. Yeah. Some you have to be 30. I'm currently only 20, so that's a few years away currently. But I did work on the Jill Sheep campaign in Missouri 02. Fun, got some experience. She was a little bit more moderate than I would have liked, but what can you do? But I did raise hell with my other interns because we kept getting asked about if she wanted to legalize marijuana. I submitted data showing that it would help us in areas where we did badly. We never heard back, though I did hear rumors that the candidate wanted to do it, but the DCCC won't let her, but it's still unclear.
Weird structure of power there. I don't fully understand it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like there was me, then my boss, then the campaign, and the DCCC, the Democratic Committee, they had some more. It was all confusing. And I just did my part, which was data, spent a lot of time in the databases, van, all that fun stuff.
That's the thing. They sort of it almost feels like they obscure the structure of power to keep it a little bit and keep it a little bit convoluted to keep people away from being able to change it. I don't know. Am I speaking out of turn?
Maybe no one was really. How do I phrase this? I was just a lowly intern, so I didn't really have that much power or know what was going on higher up. I was just with the data people. We worked with the phone bankers and the social media team.
Yeah.
The finance people were another team of interns that none of us talked to. For some reason, we barely knew they existed, but they just did their own thing.
So you never got a vote per se. You didn't. They didn't give you power in the organization.
Not really, but I'm also not sure what we would have done with that power. We just occasionally gave complaints, but yeah, we didn't have much power. Just kind of did what we were told. Mm-hmm. The intern program was massive. It was like 50 people, which was surprising.
I see.
Most of them were high schoolers, which was rather weird because I'm 20 and they're only like 15 and 16. So yeah, weird having a bunch of high schoolers to be in charge of.
Exploiting their labor.
I mean, we weren't paid, so technically.
Everybody was getting exploited, huh? Before we moved on, was there anything else you wanted to mention about what you're up to, your current projects, where people can find you, what you're up to, etc.?
I mean, it's not really a political project, but I'm helping out with the PR for the Fault Line Film Festival, and we start on Monday. Please stream it. It's free. We're a ragtag group doing it, as in there's only 4 of us. So
cool. So it's like an online film festival?
Yeah. Entire thing's being streamed on YouTube at, I forget the app, but if you just Google Fault Line Film, it'll probably come up. Yeah, it's just this little college film festival. People from SEMO across the state and across other states just submit their films. It's free. We got some nice master classes for the high schoolers. It's going to be a fun time. Yeah.
How'd I do?
Oh, yeah, that's correct. Exactly.
Fault Line Film Festival. Excellent.
Yeah, our entire media team is just 4 of us, so please watch.
Y'all need a thumbnail.
I am not in control of the YouTube, but
no. That's just a pro tip. Okay. No, that's great to hear. I'll go ahead and link that YouTube channel in the chat. I'll hit the subscribe button as well. Hey, really nice to have you here again. Let's move along. Now we've talked a little bit about what you're up to these days. What I'd like to do is take a sort of a departure here and ask a little bit about perhaps your politics, how you define them. This section is called Leftward Bound. You don't necessarily have to be a leftist if you join my show, but I was just wondering, do you consider yourself a leftist? Is that in how you identify? Do you identify as something else? Otherwise, generally speaking, this question is about just a little bit of a chance for you to explain how you reached your, some of your, or maybe the majority of your ideological stances, political beliefs, etc.
Cool. I guess technically I'm a democratic socialist because I'm a DSA member. I've never bothered to really look into labels because that gets kind of asinine when you start comparing anarcho-communism to anarcho-syndicalism, and I just never felt the need to look into that. But as far as journey,
You're
started out as
pissing some people off my chat right now, and it's great. I love it. I'm here for it. I don't know anyone specific, but there's got to be some people out there that are just like,
No, you gotta know the difference, Seth. I'm gonna teach you, Jacob, one day.
but go on. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm pretty much in agreement. Go on, yeah.
no worries. Let's see. Started out as an Occupy Democrats lib, but that was back in middle school,
Yeah.
because the Sandy Hook shooting happened when I was in 8th grade. So I was like, yeah, gun control. And that was also yeah. And then, fully joined Occupy Democrats, got a little skeptical during the Standing Rock stuff. But as many people my age, Bernie kind of opened our eyes. We were 16, we were in high school, we barely knew anything. We didn't get radicalized by the Iraq War because that happened when we were 6.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of people my age, Bernie, started as a left-wing libertarian for a little while because a guy I know was like, hey, I'm libertarian, but I also like a national healthcare system. Plus, the Libertarian Party seemed kind of harmless because they had Gary Johnson. So you couldn't really see them as a threat. It was just this fun little dude. Let's see. Then at one point, when Austin Pearson thought about running for Senate, I joined his Facebook group and within a day was appointed the director for St. Louis County and then quickly left because I was only 16 and didn't feel the need to be in on that. Let's see. I also went to college, attended a Trump rally because it was at my college about a mile or so down the road. This was in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
You went ironically, on purpose, unironically?
Ironically and out of curiosity. Basically, when it came, everything was shut down. There was a half day. We had the Secret Service. It was either you could go to the rally or do nothing. But basically, I went to the rally, took about 40 Trump signs, and I plan on selling them in like 50 years when they're valuable. Possibly forging Trump's signature to get more value, but not quite sure how to do that.
All right, you just admitted to a federal crime.
I said possibly.
Allegedly.
So yeah, that was,
some people are saying.
Yeah, that was fun. Let's see. I was the VP of our college Democrats for a few years, and kind of for 2 years, and left because I realized I had more disagreements with the party than I could care to support. Also, the president and I clashed a lot.
So do you? Is this like when you first started feeling like a separation from Democrats in general? You're like, oh shit, I'm moving left over here.
Basically, and like the president of the college Dems didn't want to do much. Like I suggested we endorse someone in the primary. I was told it would be embarrassing if they lost. So, yeah, lots of disagreements. And then as far as moving left, probably Chapo Trap House. They get a lot of flack, but there's one night I went out to grab food at this local burrito shop. I'm just standing there in the rain, waiting for the show, and then I hear Chapo talk about how Amy Klobuchar's bill for health saving accounts did nothing. Like how it didn't help the poor or the rich. It was just pure publicity, and then it just kind of clicked. And like, oh, we've been lied to. They just do things for show. And then, are you familiar with Brother Judd?
No, not Brother Judd. It's not ringing a bell.
Oh, he's this homophobic campus preacher. He came here. I went to protest him. I got COVID, and that was around the time of the election. So I was stricken with COVID, and that's when I discovered left-wing vets. Well, I was sick out of my mind, just watching their Halloween and election show, being like, yeah, I dig this.
Jeep State. The Jeep State got you.
Yeah, and
What, I'm sorry. What did you say? Jeep State brought you over to Twitch?
yeah,
Yeah,
basically, I think it was Erica tweeted out a link,
yeah. It's always Erica, dude. Go on.
and at some point in there, I get the years mixed up because it's been a long time, but I was in the Joshua Collins Discord server, and they kind of dragged me further left. But this was before, like, before he quit the party and then went kind of off the rails. Like, back when people still had faith in him, when there was the Vogue.com article, people were excited. His Discord server was a fun place. So, yeah, they kind of brought me leftward.
Okay, cool. And I may ask about that later in a slightly different context in this interview here. But that's good. I like hearing about it. So, no. Well, let me think. I'm trying to figure out how else I can ask this question. I'd love to ask, is there anything like intellectually, any like idea or thought or anything you were specifically convinced of? I think you were touching on it. You were touching on one thing actually, and I'm wondering if there's more. You were saying that realizing that after hearing about Amy Klobuchar just sort of blatantly lying and just sort of using that as their lever for, I'm not sure whatever you would say. I would say their lever for, consolidating power or, this or that, or keeping their seat at the table. Any other things that helped, intellectually? You're like, oh, shit. And that maybe that pulled you left. Anything specifically?
Probably the Citations Needed podcast, where it just kind of examined all the framing, and it just kind of,
Okay.
I started to realize how like Democrats are using kind of right-wing framing, and it just sort of broke the camel's back at times. Especially the phrase common sense now just drives me insane because it's such a vague thing.
So Citations Needed podcast. All right. This is good. I'm not sure this is ringing a bell for me. So this is good for me to hear about new things. I don't know. I still consider myself a new leftist. So there's still so much for me to learn and become aware of. All right. Dig it. We'll check that out at some point on the channel. That gives me something to look at. All right. Okay. So Discount Seth Rogen. So Jacob, I'm sorry, I just know you as Discount Seth Rogen. It's crazy. Now that we've talked a little bit about your pathway to the left, maybe something you've learned along the way, some of the people that you've met, we've talked a little bit about what you're doing and some plans you have perhaps after you graduate from the College of Hard Knocks, the School of Hard Knocks. What I'd like to ask then, maybe synthesize some of some of the more important lessons you pulled along the way. If you can imagine a younger version of yourself going back in time, being able to talk to them, obviously more realistically, they're in the chat or they're catching the replay. What if I were to ask you to spill the beans, give me the goods, what would you share with someone with an open mind? Who has an open mind? Yeah, go for it.
Nathan J. Robinson of Current Affairs has a book called Why You Should Be a Socialist. Highly recommend. Definitely helped me kind of, I guess, finalize my feelings, put them into words. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So you would, Nathan J. Robinson. I'm not sure if I remember if I recognize the name there, but you'd say that was a sort of a foremost thing. Something important to you, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like it was a simple intro to socialism.
Okay.
It helped you. It just kind of explained it. Really took all the things I wasn't trying to categorize and was like, oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. That's wonderful stuff right there. Nathan J. Robinson, a little intro to socialism. You'd call yourself a socialist?
Probably.
If I had to put you in that box?
I'd just say democratic socialist. I'm still figuring out all the terminology and stuff.
Okay. Absolutely. Wonderful. And so am I. And so is a lot of my audience. How would you define democratic socialism, DemSoc, and maybe how does that relate to capitalism in your mind? And I'm not going to like force any definition on you. I'm just asking how you define it. Yeah.
I'd say democratic socialism, it wants all the homeless people to be housed, people to have health care, workers to have a larger say in the companies they work for and possibly own them, but it still keeps a little bit of the free market around because at a certain point, like a very small amount of it should be there. Like, for example, a lot of people want to legalize sex work. That seems like something that'd be odd for the government to own and operate, if that makes sense. So yeah, a little bit free market, but just ensuring everyone has a nice basic quality of life, possibly through UBI, but definitely through ensuring everyone has housing and healthcare, hopefully vacation time, that kind of thing.
I love that. Do you mind if I push back on just one thing? I don't want to push back, but I just want to elaborate a little bit. I'm going to ask about the sex work comment you made there. Yeah, I think you said maybe you wouldn't be in favor of the government regulating sex work. Is that fair?
Yeah, I do believe in the legalization of it because I know like the decriminalization versus legalization debate is odd. Though the reason I'm for legalization is because I feel like if it's legalized, it can be brothels, and those brothels can then have a nice solid union that has all the government support that unions get, can't be busted. So that's why I'm pro legalization, so brothels can unionize.
I appreciate asking you to elaborate on that. I really appreciate hearing that. Moving on then. I'm going to move on to the. I'm sorry, unless you had anything left. If you had anything else you'd share with anyone listening. Didn't want to cut you off there.
That's all so far.
Beautiful. How about this then? I have a nice fun little questionnaire. This is evolving slowly, so it's possible I've sent you a slightly different version than we're about to do, but we're going to have fun nonetheless. So this is the Leftist Inquisition questionnaire, and allows us to get to know you a little bit more. Not so explicitly political. Some of the questions. Here we go. First question for you. Hey, Jacob, do you have a favorite word? What's your favorite word?
Swell.
Swell?
Swell.
It means a couple different things.
That's the joy of it.
That is the joy. I feel like the joy of swell is swelling inside me right now. It's growing. It's the joy. Okay. Your least favorite word?
Moderate.
What?
As in I guess a moderates in politics, it's anyone that claims to be moderately left wing is just right wing.
Yeah.
It's a cop out, or it's something that people use to hide their true politics.
Okay. Moderate. Yeah, I got a problem with moderates personally. How about next, which is you have a favorite drug or vice or guilty pleasure? You can interpret this any way you like.
Probably Starbucks, but also because it's on campus and we can use the meal plan there.
Nice.
So it doesn't really cost much.
That's awesome. You got to get that. You're like a big coffee guy, caffeine guy?
Yeah, I tend to go for the cold brew. It's a straight 300 milligrams. Wakes you up in the morning.
That'll get the job done. I love coffee. It's grown on me. I didn't drink it when I was your age, when I was a baby. Sorry, you're a young guy. You're like a young dude.
No worries.
It's embrace it. It doesn't last forever. Next, how about think about some sounds or noises. Pick one that you love.
If you're like when you listen to music and there's just a really good bass drop that kind of vibrates your skull a little bit, that's just amazing.
Nice. Is that do you like that style of music, or do you just love a bass drop?
I've been getting into EDM more, and it's just because you've been cooped up, you just kind of want to let loose, and EDM's just a nice way.
Reminds me of what Justin said yesterday, when the spirit moves you. Okay, how about a sound or noise that you hate?
Mainly like if it's the summer and the power goes out and you just hear your fan slowly start to slow down.
Oh yeah.
It's so creepy and ominous.
Do you mean like when you turn it off?
No, I mean like if it's
like,
the summer and the power just randomly goes out and you have like a box fan, it just randomly like shuts down and slows down with no reason.
It's like that's the sound of your hope going away. It's like foof, 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 foof.
Exactly.
And you're like, why me? God damn it. Exactly. Oh, that's a good one. I like how that's a layered sound. It's not just the sound, it's like the feeling that, like, oh man. How about a favorite curse word? And I have to insist, no slurs. Not that I think you would, but okay, I just got to say it.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's simple. And there was this video back during the primary where they asked all their favorite candidates the curse words, and yeah, I'm just like, fuck. I think it was Williamson and Yang who also said fuck.
Yeah.
I can't recall.
Oh, they asked the candidates? I actually didn't know they did that. It literally took me a minute to understand.
The only one
I gotta find that video.
Answer, yeah. The only one that didn't answer was Bernie.
He didn't answer?
Yeah.
He's just a little too wholesome, isn't he? What a sweet old man. My gosh. I didn't know that. I got to find that video. That's actually very interesting to me, because obviously I've been doing the questionnaire here. Next. All right. The first person, one of the first people to push you left. And if you mentioned it earlier, that's fine. You can mention it again.
Joshua Collins or Nathan J. Robinson, but probably Robinson. Okay. I found his articles before I found Collins.
Okay, so we do know you mentioned Nathan Robinson earlier. Who's maybe I'm not familiar with Joshua Collins?
The socialist truck driver.
Okay, socialist truck driver. Cool.
He ran for Congress and kind of imploded.
Oh no.
It was a mess. He deleted all his social media, used campaign funds for a Broadway streaming service at one point, I think, and then switched to an independent party before the nomination, before the general election. It was just a messy process. But I did meet some great people in his Discord that dragged me to the left.
Oh, that's fascinating. There's like these beautiful non-linear routes that I'm finding people explaining to me. And I love hearing about that. No one has the same path. Almost nobody. How about and if you mentioned it before, that's good too. But leftists that are currently inspiring you, I know you're part of the Jeep State, the Left Flank Vets. Can I assume that's how you found me? Maybe like a raid or something.
Probably a raid or some. Yeah, it was definitely a raid. Probably. God, I now realize that's been like a month since I watched Left Flank, because they just kept raiding other streamers and I kept following them, and then I just kind of forgot to watch them. Your show.
You. Thank you. That's nice to say. You don't have to say that. So, but I will give you the money that I promised you for saying it. So thank you.
No worries. Probably your show's good. Ruel up in Canada, Ghost Coalition, also in Chicago. Kenzo, I've caught a few episodes of Class Time, and I dig the format.
I produced that show with Kento. Him and I sort of like came up with that together. Came up with that
Yeah.
idea together. I had Ruel on the show yesterday. And I'm sorry, I already forgot who else you mentioned, but Ghost Coalition. We'll have Ghost Coalition on 420. They've signed themselves up for 420, so we'll obviously be not doing anything that's considered bad by some people.
Obviously, now you'll just be chewing on completely safe gummy bears.
Exactly. Completely safe. Awesome.
100%.
Those are great suggestions, and it's so wonderful to hear that. Like, I know them, and again, thank you for the nice words about me. Reincarnation, if you can imagine that. If you came back as a plant or some other animal, what would it be?
A penguin.
A penguin. You've obviously seen the silly video of Benedict Cumberbatch fucking up the word penguin, right?
Yeah, like once or twice, but I don't know.
Good,
when I was younger, I did a few projects on them, and I dig them.
And then, of course, those films are pretty touching, with Morgan Freeman telling us about the march of the penguin.
Oh, I was thinking more along the lines like Happy Feet and Surf's
Happy
Up.
Feet. I never seen the Happy Feet. Surf's Up. I never seen that either.
It's a penguin surfing film.
I'm gonna put it on the list for movie night. Yeah,
It makes sense. You haven't seen it. It was more geared towards my generation.
All right. So I do a review show with my friend Rob K. Let's do a super condensed version of Surf's Up, is what it's called. Number 1, does it pass the Bechdel test? Is there a moment in the movie that you can remember when two female characters are talking to themselves about something other than a male lead? If you can't remember,
Last time
that's
I
fine.
saw it, I was 10.
It fails. Next, is it class conscious? Does it realize and recognize the battle between classes? It probably doesn't.
No.
Next, is it worth your time? Would you suggest it for a watch? Is it worth your time?
Yes, because the soundtrack slaps.
All right, I'll listen to it for the soundtrack. I love it.
Though, if you are going to do a movie, I'd suggest Bob Roberts. It's this old it's Alan Rickman, Jack Black, Gore Vidal. It's this lovely little mockumentary about a conservative singer running for Congress.
Okay, cool. That's just like a random movie suggestion. I love it, dude. Bob Roberts. Okay, that may legitimately go on my list. Although you also suggested Surf's Up, so I know I got 2 movies. So let's imagine you found out that both heaven and God exist. What would they say to you as you arrive at maybe your version of the pearly gates?
That the concert's about to start. I imagine heaven as having a lot of concerts, if it exists. Like in the Percy Jackson musical, there's a whole number where they say that their whole underworld has a bunch of dead artists and they just perform all the time. That's how I'd like to view heaven.
That's very nice. Concert's about to begin. Take your seat, sir. Or is it some standing concert? Some concerts you can't sit. You just can't. Gotta stand. How about this? Any recent concerts you've been to? Obviously, not since COVID, but
I'm legitimately trying to remember the last concert I went to.
Same.
It might have been Black Bear out in Kansas City with Elohim.
Okay.
Or Lord with the Run the Jewels.
Oh,
was one of those.
I bet that was a good one.
It was good, but the crowd vibe was really weird for Run the Jewels because there was a lot of teenage girls who and their parents that were not expecting Run the
Oh.
Jewels. It was still a good show. I mainly went for Run the Jewels, but the crowd got into it.
Okay. Run the Jewels does a good live show.
And it was either that or the last Lou Fest. It's a St. Louis concert festival.
Okay.
And Snoop Dogg, Run the Jewels, and a bunch of other people.
So, Jacob, I got to thank you for answering all of my questions today. What I'm going to do is go ahead and shift gears. I'm going to ask the chat if they have any questions. If you happen to be looking at the chat, you can feel free to answer any that you see. Otherwise, do you have any questions for me now that you have the chance? I don't want it to be entirely one-sided. Let me know what you're thinking.
First off, I'm going to do a minor plug.
Yes.
I'm still looking for a job for the summer. If anyone knows of leftist political orgs, my Twitter is down below. Please contact me. Please hire me.
Mm-hmm. It's right there. There you go. Awesome. So you're looking for a job. You're looking for some leftist organization work, trying to get that going. I'm jealous that I wish I figured out what you'd figured out by the time you are your age, and I'm fucking stoked for you in that sense. Like, way to go! Like, onward and upward. Keep rocking it out, baby.
Thanks. I had something at one point, as in I messaged Marcus from Left Link Vets. I'm like, hey, do you have any internship things? He's like, yeah, we got something. And then he never got back to me. Yeah. So I assume it was the revolving door that rotates that became this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it was. He never specified, but I messaged him like, hey, is this still going on? And he never got back. So now I'm just kind of here.
That was sort of a project that I'm not sure how to explain it, but it eventually evolved into this, but in a very I don't know. It just sort of happened. I actually realized, I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing the show without realizing that that's what we were talking about. But I would love for this format to spread. It's a simple format. You just ask people the simple questions. You give some time to think about it, and then you have a nice little chat. And it doesn't have to be controversial. It doesn't have to be a debate. You know, we can have a conversation. We can get to know each other. We can build, I hope, leftist unity, strength, and power. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm just assuming that the revolving door that rotates is what he was talking about, but I have no idea. Yeah. He never really specified.
I mean, this is pretty much it. It's just that, it's not rotating yet. Well, I don't know. It's sort of rotating. It's just it's rotating around me. I want it to rotate around other streamers. I want other people to do this. I'm tired of the debate panels. I'm tired of the the drama. I'm tired of the drama. Let's fucking organize together and get shit done and move towards the goals that we want. It just feels like we're moving backwards a lot. But I'm new to leftism. But that said, I'm not new to the fucking internet. I'm not new to people dynamics. You could sort of see how people are fucking up. Anyways, not you. You're perfect. Don't. I'm talking about some people that will not be named.
So yeah, if there's anyone in chat that has Twitter, please I guess at Marcus, telling him to respond to me in a nice way, not like a harassing way. Just send him a few messages on Twitter, throw in a few gifts, make it fun and light.
Okay. Unless you have any final questions for me, Jacob, or anything else?
I guess any big guests coming up on class time you're excited about?
You know what? I'm pretty much excited about all of them, but I often don't realize it until it's like after the fact. So I can't actually think of anybody who's coming up on the show. but it's always at the end of every show. There are always people that I'm like, oh shit, y'all are based. I'm a baby leftist. I don't know shit. Y'all know everything. I don't know anything. Please teach me your ways. And maybe one day when I get the courage, I'll send invites to them to join my show. I've sent some. I'm just so nervous about sending more. But thank you for joining me today, buddy.
And I gotta ask, based on your whole, I guess, stream,
Yeah.
when did you first start smoking weed?
Oh,
What's your weed journey?
I was about 24 or 25. And it was pretty much like, oh shit. I've had this like tremendous feeling my entire life. And here you go. This is finally the way that gives you relief from that. I just had a lot of anxiety my entire life. That spiraled into depression, or maybe the other way around. I'm not quite sure. And it's just like, holy shit, this magical thing that you grow and then you light it on fire and then you breathe it and you feel better. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what other worldly shit is this? You know, it's not like ruining my life or anything like that. Although it is expensive, but that's just that's just a result of our stupid world that we live in, not because of the plant. It's a fucking plant. In fact, I got to figure out how to get those medical cards so I can grow it here in Illinois.
I'm going to take a quick question from the chat, if that's okay
Perfect.
with you, but
Yes.
while I answer that, here's
Yes.
one for you to consider.
All right.
Any interesting songs you had kids sing in choir when you were a teacher?
I'm so sorry. Say that again.
When you were a choir teacher, any interesting songs you had kids sing?
Did I have them sing any songs? So the fact is, I wasn't really a choir teacher. They hired me to teach choir, but I quickly realized that it needed to be more of like a general music class. So we didn't do like a bunch of singing. And in that sense, there wasn't any like specific song. I sort of like let the kids pick whatever songs they wanted to learn. So no. The answer is no. No interesting songs.
The only reason I'm asking is because in 5th grade we sang a Weezer song in Radiohead's Creep, which was terrifying, having a bunch of 5th graders sing about being lonely and stalking someone. And to answer Zallastar, I can't pronounce that about what organizing. I do a little bit with STODSA. I was the leader of my college's Students for Bernie chapter. Yeah. Though I will admit we were ragtag, as in it was 2 weeks before the Missouri primary. I realized, oh shit, there's no one down here. So we did a few canvassing. I went door to door for a few people, and we kind of stood out in front of the library talking to kids. And also the thing for the Jill Shoup campaign, we had to make about 200 calls a week. I started in late May through August, so a few months, 200 calls a week. Around 1,000 or 2,000 calls or somewhere. And did a little phone. I've done the occasional phone banking for candidates since then. Tried to spread the word about trivia fundraisers for candidates my friends are working for, but currently I'm in college trying not to catch corona for the second time, so that's taken up most of my stuff.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be that. Thank you so much for dropping by, Jacob, for letting us know a little bit about your story and a little bit about your plans. I'm looking forward to one day having you back on, and we'll have you chat with us maybe about the office that you're running for. Wouldn't that be pretty based?
Yeah. Well, if you need more people to invite on, I know lots of leftists, and also I'd like to do a shout out to my Roses shirt because it's leftism figured.
Oh,
so kind
how
of.
did I not see that was Roses? I love that. That's based. That looks really good. Nice.
Cool. I will leave you to it.
Hey, thank you again. Really appreciate you. All right, Jacob, be good to yourself and be good to each other. Peace now. Thank you, Jacob. Next time, buddy. All right. But oh, it's broken. Is it broken? No, it's not. Oh my gosh, chat, wasn't that nice? Hey, YouTube, you're watching a clip from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/iDanSimpson, where you can follow for free and subscribe for only $5 a month. Thanks for watching.